And welcome back to Jeff Koinange, live at the Intercontinental Hotel here on this Political Wednesday. That's what it's all about, the state of the nation. I'm trying to dissect the stories that have been happening in the country the last few days, and my goodness, it is a plateful. Robert Alai, the founder and CEO of Tech Matter. And how do you ever promote? Is it Tech Matter? Tech Matter?
Tech Matter.
Tech Matter.
Yes.
Tech Matter. Tech Matter. All right. Okay. And Ngunjiri Wambugu, who kind of, you know,
change associates.
Yeah. Change associates.
We change.
And they change with the associates. You know. Yeah. Tweets coming in thick and fast, gentlemen. Crazy stuff. Everybody's tweeting in. At Robert Alai, at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag Alai Ngunjiri. Keep tweeting. I'll read them shortly. So much to discuss. Right now, gentlemen, Moses Kuria comes out at a prayer meeting for Deputy President William Ruto, and he says something to the fact that he, alongside former Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister Martha Karua, coached, or in Matsanga's words, procured witnesses. Ngunjiri.
Yes.
What the?
It was an interesting thing. I mean, for a minute even I was looking at my TV and I'm thinking, yeah, what has Moses gone and done? But when you think through it, what Moses actually achieved is we've been revising history since 2007. We forget how we actually went to the ICC. And one of the things that has never been discussed properly in this country is that ODM were the first people to actually take material to the ICC immediately after the elections, where they were saying these guys have stolen the elections and they're using government, they're killing people, That was the first thing that happened. Then PNU, at that time, then collected their own material and took it to ICC. Now, to defend themselves, number one, from what had already been taken by ODM, and to also state their case. Part of the reason why the Kenyan cases were developed so quickly was because of that material. Each side was trying to basically set up the other one. And what Moses is saying is, this is what we should be saying, because it's like two guys in school. You're mekosana ama, somebody has dropped something, you've broken something, then you're trying to set each other up to be the one who, and before you know it, the kids are being expelled from school. Nobody wants to admit that you were trying to just set each other up. Now Moses brought that back to us. He said, let us remember the reason these cases were developed at the ICC as political cases between two parties that were fighting. Now since then, a lot of things have changed. Kalonzo, who was in PNU, is in ODM. Wetangula, who was in PNU, is in ODM. Ruto, who was in ODM, is in Jubilee. So now we have a completely different ballgame. And sometimes you get stuck when you discuss the ICC situation, because the people, and I've heard both Uhuru and Ruto keep saying this a lot. We were not running for president. I read one of the briefs that had been sent to ICC by one NGO that said that the 2007 elections, the people who were killing each other were supporters of Uhuru and supporters of Ruto. And that's not true. Those guys were nowhere. I mean, they were not even really important politicians at that moment in time. They were subordinates of the two people. Okay, that's what Kuria has brought us back to.
Before the break, I mentioned a movie called Wag the Tail. It's actually Wag the Dog.
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry Thorne, for correcting me. It's all right, Wag the Dog. But why now is the question. Why now?
You know, I think that, look who is talking. Who is Mr. Kuria? One of the closest allies of the president. So I think they're trying to divert our attention to move away from the teachers and move away from Waiguru. So I'm not going to focus on Moses Kuria. I don't think, because, since these cases of ICC started, we have heard of Raila, we have heard of the Sky Team, we have heard of Nancy Gitau, we have heard of the president's people, we have heard of Uhuru Kenyatta took me, we have heard of Martha Karua took me. Who took Ruto to The Hague?
Who did?
I think when you saw Ruto this week, if you saw Ruto, and especially addressing the Kalenjins, and you saw them aligning to enter his residence in the Karen, I think you should have realized who took him to Hague. He was not happy, even standing behind the president later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yes, and in the State of the Nation address, I think why is the president in the country and not in
New York? You think there's some friction there, Alai?
There's too much friction. The president thinks that he's going to be impeached in his absence. Yes.
Ngunjiri, do you agree?
I don't think so.
Jeff,
I don't.
The president flew out. Let him deny this, and we'll produce the evidence. The president flew out on Sunday evening, went to South Africa. For what mission? Secretly. Came back on Monday evening. For what reason?
This guy is
again. Yeah?
He has more information than we will ever know, right? How do you know this?
No.
How do you know this?
The walls have ears. My dad used to tell me that even the lizards on the wall see what you're doing.
A lot of lizards that reports to this guy.
So he flew to South Africa?
Yes.
I don't know.
And flew back?
Sunday evening, came back on Monday evening.
Actually, I don't know that. I don't know that at all.
That's not the subject of discussion. The thing is, the president is trying to divert our attention through this accusation on Raila. Every time something comes up, the issue of teachers, it turns into a Raila versus Uhuru contest.
No.
Raila is not contesting with Uhuru anything now. Raila was defeated 3 years ago.
He's never accepted.
He's not even an MP.
Let's have a moment.
Yes,
Let's have a moment. Let's have a moment, Alai.
Yes.
To just appreciate the fact that you have said Raila was defeated by Uhuru 3 years ago.
According to Jubilee.
No, it's important to have Alai
listen.
Now you can go on.
Listen, I've never denied. I've never said that Uhuru didn't win. What I say is that his win is very questionable. There are a lot of facts which brings questions on his win. But I've never said that he's not the president. You have recognized his presidency. But this person, you defeated him 3 years ago. Why are you so much concerned with him? He's not even an MP. He's not even a senator. But when he coughs, he's even... Raila came back, I think, yesterday. He was in Tanzania. He was helping his friend campaign in Tanzania. Why are you so much concerned with him? Why is this thing turning into a Raila contest? Raila versus Uhuru. Uhuru is not contesting. The only person Uhuru is contesting the presidency with is Ruto. And they are not in good terms now.
That's what I was about to go to. Ngunjiri.
Yes.
Do you think this marriage will last to 2017?
The marriage will last for several reasons. The fact that it actually happened. I was one of the people who never believed it was going to happen. I never believed that it was possible for the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins to vote together. I was caught surprised. I was really surprised. And part of the reasons why I know who won is because of the numbers that came from Rift Valley. Those are the only numbers that CORD had not factored in. CORD had always factored they were going to get at least 30% from the Rift Valley.
They didn't think Ruto was that powerful.
No. When he cleaned out Rift Valley and got the entire vote block into that seat. Now, the second thing is that Ruto is an extremely smart politician. He's very close. He's actually a very smart politician. He understands that if he gets out of Uhuru's camp right now, what is going to happen is that he's now going to end up having to figure out whether he's going to work with Raila. Raila will not take number 2. So why would you leave a place where you're already number 2 to go and become number 2 for a guy who might not win? So even if you forget about because politics, you see, we keep getting carried away by this thing about do they like each other, are they have intention, political coalitions, even court right now. Where was Wetangula today? Yeah, how come he didn't contribute 100,000 shillings to that M-Pesa Okoa?
By the way, what is that?
That Okoa Baba, that Okoa Baba account. How come Wetangula didn't contribute to it?
By the way, what is that account? Where does it go to?
I'm hearing somebody telling me it goes to Virgin Atlantic, some story.
You guys are
but you see, also, how do you raise...
Why should CORD build Virgin Atlantic?
Why should CORD raise money?
For Virgin Atlantic.
How do they intend to raise 17 billion shillings on M-Pesa?
It's possible.
Okay.
We raised 1 billion, I think. On Kenyans for Kenya?
Kenyans, 1 billion.
CORD wasn't running.
Okay. You said your point. Alai.
Yes.
By the way, someone very senior in government texts me today and says, why are you always discussing Ruto? What's it about Ruto that's so interesting and so, what is it?
Let me actually...
We can't avoid it. Hold on.
Yes.
My question to you, Alai, is...
let me tell you, let me answer that for Ruto. Because I know that he's the one complaining. Because he has complained to many other people. So, for Ruto...
Yes.
And this I told also Kidero. Yeah. Because the last time I discussed Kidero, he sent tags after me. If you don't want to be discussed, go and be the leader of your person privately in your home. We will discuss you. You're a public leader, we'll discuss you.
Correct.
Whether it makes you happy, makes you sad, we'll discuss you. That's politics. That's how we check you.
That's how we check
you. Good. That's how we check you.
So here's my question.
Yes.
Will the marriage last, first of all?
I don't think it will last.
It won't last?
It's not going to last.
Where will Ruto go?
I think Ruto will look for a coalition.
With Raila? Maybe.
Don't be surprised
yes.
if Raila is number 2 and Ruto is number 1.
And what happens to the incumbent?
Which one?
The president.
No, let's talk.
No, hold on.
Listen, the president is not in charge of the nation. The shilling is at its all-time low. It came at 69. We are now at 10. It's even going to go up to 120. The security is in night.
No, I think I keep saying.
You disagree?
I completely disagree. Let me explain something.
Yes.
First and foremost, let's talk real politics here. So you expect Ruto to leave the coalition where he's number 2 and go and become number 1 for a guy he's not sure he's going to win. That's one thing.
Which guy is
not going to win?
He's not sure he's going to win. Because remember, the one thing an incumbent...
And Ruto is sure he's going to be handed over there.
Let me tell you, the one thing that Uhuru has as a guarantee in 2017 is that whoever is number 2 for him, he'll be telling him, I am leaving in 5 years.
Yes.
I will leave this thing to you.
Right.
No.
That's a guarantee.
There's no guarantee there.
No. I'm telling you in 2017. Alai, let me finish.
Okay.
The one thing that is going to happen in 2017 is that Uhuru is going to be able to stand up and tell if, for example, Ruto left.
Yes.
Now,
the one thing that Uhuru has that nobody else has, and no other candidate is going to have, is that he's going to be an incumbent, and whoever is going to be number 2 to him, he's going to be assuring him, in 2022, I'm leaving this thing to you. I'm not going to stay. Raila, if, for example, Ruto 1 runs in 2017, there's no guarantee he's going to get it. That's number 1.
Okay.
Because he's not on it.
Okay.
You're competing against somebody who's already sitting on this seat.
Right.
The second thing is, I don't agree that Raila is going to accept to be number 2. So you're going to have that problem first. Because remember, you have a situation where Raila is going to be 70. Raila has been able to hold these guys together, Nyanza, because he keeps telling them, I am the Messiah, I will save you. Now, you're telling him to go and say that I will not be the one to save you.
Right.
I'll hand you over to this young man from Rift Valley to save you.
Yes.
He's not going to do that. So this is the real politics we need to talk about.
You say something and then I'll say something.
No, I think that Raila is going to... Raila can accept to be anybody else's kid.
He can play second fiddle?
Yes. Raila can be second fiddle to anybody. Raila is very humble. You know, Raila is the person who can really forget about the tribulations, you know, you put him through very fast. And is very forgiving. The most unfortunate thing is that we try to bury our heads in the sand and think that the Jubilee coalition is very intact. It's not intact. And the fact is that the president is not assuring Ruto that he's going to hand over power to him. Already, Ruto thinks that the Hague case is holding him. And is a hold because the key evidence against Ruto was provided by the NIS. The NIS is the presidency.
But he wasn't the president.
No, he wasn't the president, but check.
We're revising history because also Uhuru's case, part of the primary evidence against him was given to him or given out by NIS. And you see, this time when the evidence was being given away, both guys had actually been fired from their jobs. That's what we...
They were not fired. They were not fired. Okay. Uhuru was still in charge of the government.
How? Kibaki was
Gentlemen, real quick.
Yes.
Maybe Ruto feels that the only way that he can avoid a date with The Hague or a date with possible prison is if he is president.
But that's what both of them thought. Initial plan.
But now he's number 2. He's not president.
Yes.
So if this is a scenario we're talking about.
Yes.
If he leaves the coalition, if he's not satisfied, he joins Raila.
Yes.
But my other question is, what happens to Wetangula, Kalonzo?
That's what I'm saying.
The other,
I know we've got Wetangula.
We'll cross the bridge when we get there. Let me tell you one thing.
That's the problem of that.
Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. Everything here is theory.
Yes.
No,
but you see, Ruto is already in government. That's not theory.
Yes.
He's already
but he came into government and he came into the powerful post. Ruto would have not come to Uhuru because the people were attacking him so much. In fact, if you get the audio tapes or the video tapes of Uhuru attacking Ruto then, they were not in good terms. But they were together because they saw that they can get out of this thing together.
Correct.
And when they got the presidency, the first countries they visited, Japan, Gambia, where these people, individuals who are sitting in The Hague, the key officials, yes, where they come from.
The judges are.
Yes, the judges and the prosecutors. The current prosecutor is from Gambia.
Gambia, correct.
Yes. So these are the countries they visited. Why did they visit the country? And Ruto thought that he's going to leave the case. He was left inside in the dungeons.
But left
now he's going by the president.
How was he left? They were not in the dungeons together.
You know,
they were
these
having
people,
two different cases.
The campaign,
you see, again,
division. Yes.
Division of history. These guys were in two independent cases.
Yes.
Completely independent.
No.
That has been.
They were very much related. Independent but related.
How?
The same. It was
just
from
because
one
the
event.
same code.
It was from one event.
No, you have different cases. Remember,
yes.
even the sites, even the locations of their cases are totally different.
No. Listen, the location is the head.
No, not the location of the court.
Yes.
The location of their crimes.
The location of the crimes, yes, but it's one event, post-election violence.
Yes.
207, 208. One case, it's one case.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk about location.
Gentlemen, it's still 2015.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
2017 is so far.
Yes.
And we're discussing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
The possibilities.
And that's what I'm saying. We are talking theory here. Real politics dictates that, one, first and foremost, Ruto has watched what happens when people leave government. Starting from Raila and Kalonzo themselves.
Out in the cold.
There's no way he's going to leave government.
Let me tell you,
the
president knows one thing. That Ruto is now his biggest threat. That's why he has not gone to New York. Anybody else can say anything.
You see,
the president knows one thing. You know, the president even sponsored people to go to there was an advance team. Do you know the advance team has been recalled?
Yes. It was in New York.
Yes.
They cancelled an event this weekend.
But that's not, this is not the first time.
He flew to Namibia and came back.
No. I don't know why these guys want to assume that he's doing that because of the impeachment motion that I don't even think is going to go anywhere. He's got a crisis. He's got 300,000 teachers out at home. He's got children at home. Why would he go for Unga when he's got a crisis at home? But now these guys,
a big deal. The Pope is
but
there.
you see, these guys, but the Pope is coming. It's okay. He doesn't have to go and meet him there.
Okay.
You can wait for him there.
No,
these guys want us to imagine
I think
that he's refusing to go because of the impeachment motion, which I do not think is going to go anywhere. Remember, there's one thing there's one thing about politics.
Yeah.
When you're in a marriage that like is between Ruto and Uhuru, you do not want to be the one who makes the first step of showing lack of goodwill. Now, if, for example, hypothetically, Ruto decided to support this impeachment motion, then it fails.
Then he's out.
He's cool.
You know,
and Ruto has not
Ruto
you know,
is
one of the
not
things people
supporting
don't
the
understand.
motion.
One of the things people don't understand is that, unlike Raila, Uhuru, and a couple of other politicians, Ruto is one of the few politicians in this country who is actually self-made. He has learned to leverage every position he goes, whether it's with Moi, whether it's with Raila or with Uhuru. He is not going to make the mistake of leaving a sure thing for something he's not sure about.
Let's face it, he
probably
and he maybe is the only person who can overthrow the presidency to the sitting presidency, because the constitution allows him.
Yeah.
In impeachment, he's going to assume the presidency without going for
Guys,
elections.
I know God would love to see that.
Let me tell you one thing, Jeff. You know, when Kirwa spoke, he brought a rap Kirwa. Then Jirongo spoke. And they spoke the same thing, the same way. It was not by chance. It was not, it didn't happen from nowhere.
Wow.
Somebody told them.
Somebody told them.
Yes.
And let's face it, this man must read Machiavellian, The Prince, every night.
Who is this?
Ruto.
Yeah,
yes.
but you see, we forget
he
something.
Must read The Prince.
We forget something. He's serving under a president who most probably wrote a book, a version of that book.
Well put.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
He did write a book.
He most probably wrote a
It was
version
a
of that
chapter. It
book.
was a chapter.
Gentlemen.
Wrote a chapter of that book.
Yes, he was a chapter of the book.
Gentlemen, let's take a break, come back, read some tweets, and also talk about the teacher strike. Should we talk about it? I mean, it's in week 4.
Yes.
It's in week 4.
No, these guys are raising money for it. So I think it's over.
What's that number again?
I think it's over. 672-672.
It goes to Virgin Atlantic.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how they expect to pay teachers. I actually don't understand.
Yeah.
For a moment.
My question is,
understand.
you send money to this account and it goes to the teachers?
And then what? And then if the teachers, for example, me as far as I'm concerned, CORD is raising money for 2017. They have just seen an opportunity because how are they going to pay teachers? How are they going to pay teachers?
Do you also want to say that the PNU or the Jubilee then in 2008 raised money for their own things? They raised money for IDPs, which never reached their
let's face it.
So even them, they're doing the same thing?
No, I'm asking. Do you want to say this?
Gentlemen, before we go on that, Nana Kanywa, my good friend, says, great show, living up to its reputation as the showdown. Oh my! At Robert Alai, at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Alai Ngunjiri. Keep tweeting. I will read many of your tweets when we come back. Plenty more to discuss. JKL takes a break. We'll be back.